Hey, welcome to or welcome back to my channel, IndieAuthor Jill. If you're new here, I read and review self-published and indie-authored books, and today we are looking at uh, Dead by Dusk by E.C. Hill. This is one my niece chose. Um, oh, dude. Okay, so I hadn't paid a whole lot of attention to the cover, but the two main characters are Celine and Ronan, and I just noticed that you got Celine on the front cover, but if you look closely in the reflection of the axe is actually Ronan's face because Celine has green eyes and he has blue eyes and he has short black hair. Uh, but yeah, that's cool. Notice until just now. Um, this one starts off really you have no idea what's going on at all when you first start, but that's okay because neither does Selena Ronan. um so Celine wakes up in the house and she's actually in a kitchen, and from the kitchen she can see the living room. um and then uh she's sees two other people. She's been like just left like propped up in the kitchen, and there's a guy on the couch, and then there's a girl um sitting slumped against the on the floor next against the wall next to the couch. And she has no idea where she is, what she's doing there, or who these two people are. And so she's the first one to come to, so she gets up and she starts looking around the kitchen, and she figures, it's a kitchen, there's gotta be, a knife or something around. And she finds that she's going through the drawers and she's finding cups and she's finding bowls and she's finding dish towels and pot holders and um, measuring cups and every single thing that a kitchen could possibly need except a knife. And at one point while she's looking through, she sees a mark on the floor underneath the rug, and she like lifts the rug and it says X marks the spot. And so she like um activates a button that opens up a little compartment, and she finds a dagger. And it just says keep this our little secret or whatever. And so she pockets the dagger and continues looking around for anything else. There's nothing else. um and then she sees a shadow. There's a closed door, and she sees a shadow of somebody moving around, and she's like, "That's no bueno." Um, and the guy on the couch starts waking up, and he's like, "Who are you?" And she's like, "Celine, who are you?" And he's like, "Nathan. But if you can tell me where we are and what we're doing here, you can call me Nate. All my friends call me Nate, I think." And she's like, "Well, it's gonna have to be Nathan then because I have no idea," or Nathaniel, or something like that. I think it's Nathaniel. But um, she goes back. She calls most of the people in the book. She calls them by different like nicknames. Um, she does use their names, so she calls Nate, and sometimes she calls him Nathaniel. Um, uh, then she um so they go and uh they open the door, and there's a big burly dude who calls himself William in there, and he's just as confused as they are. And so they're all sitting there trying to figure out who they are and where they other than because they remember their names, but they don't remember like who they are beyond that. All they have is these like um instincts of that um give them an idea. She's like, what kind of a person am I that I'm used to situations where I'm in danger and I just know to calm myself? And then the girl starts waking up and she tells him her name is Carmen. And so like I said, she has like nicknames for different she ends up calling them different nicknames. So William ends up getting called Bobby Boy. Uh Carmen gets called Little Dreamer. Nate goes back and forth between Nate and Nathaniel. And then Ronan is the next guy they meet, and she calls him Mr. Blue or Blue Boy or something like that. He calls her Killer, which makes sense because as her memories come back, she starts realizing that that's she's a trained fighter. Um, so, um, and I'm trying not to give too much away because there's like so many with them losing their memories, and there's so many little pieces like you don't really get to I think 4 she starts realizing that she has um combat skills, and then it's not until chapter 11 um I had to mark them. Yes, I make the criminal choice to dog ear books. Gasp, I know. um but I didn't have a bookmark with me at the time. I was using receipts and my receipts kept getting lost. So I just started dog earing them. Um, but anyway, yeah, it's not until 11 that you finally get a more clear picture of how all these people are connected and how that they have a past. They all know each other. But of course, up to chapter 11, they don't know that until all the pieces start piecing together and their memories start getting back together because it's just little things like when Carmen and Celine are running through the woods at one point. Celine is or Carmen stops her and she's like, "Are you getting any of your memories back?" And she's like, "No. Why are you?" And she's like, "I know we've done this before." And she's like, "What?" She's like, "We've ran together before." And she's like, "I don't remember that." And she's like, "I do." And she's like, "I don't know why, but yeah, we've done this before. We know each other." And so they start trying to, as time goes on and their memories are like slowly coming back together, they start remembering each other. Um, but it's not just them. Like they start off in this house and they finally figure out how to get out of the house. But then they're stuck in the woods and they're being hunted by these people and they have no idea why. And it does pertain back to how they know each other and um how they ended up coming together. Like I said, there's just so much I can't say because um the plot twists, like you just have to experience it organically, really. But um Celine has kind of a dark sense of humor. um and she's very like, I don't want to say she's blasé about death, but she just recognizes killing people as a necessity of her life. Um like that's just what has to happen, especially in this case, in this scenario, because these people are actively trying to kill her and this group of people. One person, the person never gets a name. They're literally a throwaway character. When Celine gets when Celine actually exits the house, the first person she meets tells her one of the people in that house is lying to you, and you are being and we are being hunted, and you need to get out of here. And you can come with me or you can go somewhere else. I don't care, but just get out of here. And so that's what they all decide to do. They get out of there. So you've got these people. You've got William. Celine, Ronan, Nathaniel, Adonis, and Carmen. And those are the ones that woke up together in the house in different rooms. And they do what I would say is the smart thing, that before they leave the house, they do find there's only one exit. Um, but they make the smart decision to completely search the house to make sure there is nothing that um they haven't missed, or if they don't leave anything behind. um it kind of normally I would say that uh say whether or not I normally think of um books in the terms of uh movie productions, like would this be a good movie or an animation or whatever. um I would not want to see this as a movie or a cartoon, but I would love to see it as an RPG, um a video game. um, because that's basically how it plays out, is that you wake up in this house and you go back and forth. Like I said, you're between Celine's POV or Ronan's POV. um, but I think that this could easily be adapted to an RPG video game where you go through the house and you have to, find as much as you can. But then once you escape the house, like your first job is to escape the house because it is booby trapped. But once you escape the house, um, you have the hunters after you. And the first obstacle is there's this large field, and beyond the field is a shrouded, uh, engulfed forest, wooded area. So you got to get out of the house first. And the house is, like I said, it's booby trapped. So it's trying to keep you from escaping. So you get out of the house. Then you have to get across this wide open field. And there is a group of hunters that immediately are coming out for you in the field. And the um, you can take them down, but when she takes them down, obviously they're dropping their weapons, and she sifts through those weapons as she drops them. Some of them are like, okay, this is a machete, but it's rusted and it's bent. He was given a really crappy weapon from the get go, but he had a good staff or a good spear. And so each person she takes down, uh, she's getting weapons. Person the others are taking down, they're getting weapons. And so everyone's getting armed, and everyone's kind of figuring out, oh, wait, I'm actually accustomed to using a weapon, not this weapon. And so they got to figure out which weapon they're like. If they get a dagger, they're like, this doesn't feel right. But then they get a bow and arrow and they're like, oh yeah, actually this feels very comfortable. I can use this. So not only are they figuring out, um they'll use whatever weapons they're given until they get a comfortable that weapon that they are comfortable with. Um and I think uh I thought that that was interesting, that their memories were so shot that they couldn't even remember, what kind of weapons they used to spar with, and what have you. uh, but it was interesting watching how the mystery of what was happening unfolded, of who they were, how they were connected, what they were like, why they're dressed. They're all dressed differently. For Celine and her counterpart Ronan, they are both dressed in like kind of tactical gear, like tactical pants, combat boots, and like they're dressed to fight. And then you have Nathaniel, and he's dressed in a blue sweatshirt and gray sweatpants, or black sweatpants. And then you got Carmen, who is not dressed for combat at all. She's dressed to go hang out with some friends at the at a diner or something like that, you know. Um, Even William and Adonis are not necessarily dressed for combat. They're dressed kind of comfortably, but like as they, like I said, as they get their memories back and they start realizing who they were and how they knew each other, what they're accustomed to, um, and even how they're related to one another, as far as whether they were coworkers, friends, or whatever, lovers. And she even says, it even says, six assuming strangers, five have no memories, four become hunted, five were friends, two are lovers, one is lying. And so all of them claim that they only remember their name, but one of them is lying about only knowing their name, and it doesn't take you long to kind of figure out maybe who it is. Like you get your suspicions straight away, but they don't really give anything away, and it's even when they get their memories back and they realize that they were working together and one of them is a mole or traitor from the very get-go. So their whole reason they're here is because of something that went wrong, but it's because somebody was a mole. And even when they were found out, it was not really clear as to which person sold them out. Um, so because everybody took the blame in one way or another, uh, pretty much. So, um, like Celine, she's like she doesn't really trust anybody, obviously, because this stranger said run and don't trust anyone, and then immediately took a knife to the back and got killed. And so you got all these five others, and the only one she feels like she can trust is Carmen, because Carmen just doesn't seem like someone who could betray them. But it's also one of those that Carmen has these moments of clarity that kind of make you wonder, is she really this sweet and sincere, or is she just really that good of an actress, you know? Um, so, um, yeah, like I said, it was an interesting book. It's not the kind of book I would typically read myself. Certainly not one that I would have reached for. Which is one of the reasons why I like one of the reasons why I like doing this is because I end up finding books that I would see, and I probably wouldn't have reached for it even by the cover of the book. Like I said, I'm not big on thrillers and horrors, and that's basically what this is. This is a thriller, but like it wasn't one that I was turned off of. I've had couple of thrillers where I was like, no, I just can't. It's not for me. I'm not enjoying my time with it. I'm not going to keep reading it. This one, I kept like, okay, what happens next? You know, and the ending of the chapters are done so well that you get to the end of the chapter and you're like, okay, one more chapter, but then you get to the end of that chapter and I was like, one more chapter? And then the next thing you know, it's 3 o'clock in the morning and you're like, great, I got to be up in 3 hours to go to work, but I know how the book ends, at least. Um, Going into it, I was concerned, even though it didn't say book one, I was concerned that it was going to be the start of a series. And I started so many series that I need to actually finish because they're series that I enjoy. But I was glad that this was a standalone and that it was just its own book, its own story. And yeah, so you can, if you're looking for a good thriller but you don't want to get into a series, then this is a good standalone thriller to get into. Um and like I said, it was interesting. It kept me turning the pages. So, as usual, the uh link will be in the description below. I'm trying to think of a good emoji. How about a house for this one? Because my biggest thing is I don't want anybody getting um the algorithm can be so picky about what it considers um ban worthy or whatever. So I don't want to say a dagger emoji. So let's go with a house emoji for the house that they woke up in. So if you want to comment and let me know that you've made it to the end, go ahead and comment house emoji. Otherwise, you can comment whatever you want. Um What's the first book that you're reading in July? Because this was mine, Dead by Dusk by E.C. Hill. So, like I said, the book will link will be in the description below, as will my PO box address. If you are a self-published author or indie author and you want to send me a book to be featured on this channel, you can. You absolutely don't have to. Um, but I know that some people have reached out to me and asked me if they could, and I was like, why would I put my address in the description if that wasn't okay? And they're like, well, we just wanted to make sure, and I was like, yeah. So this is your invitation. Go ahead and send me a book if you want to send me a book. It's not that big of a deal. I'm not gonna be upset about it. But as long as it is self-published or published through an indie publishing company. Um, that being said, I will talk to you guys later. Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the notification bell. Bye.